Every Doberman owner begins with confidence, believing they understand the breed from videos, stories, or reputation alone, but the truth is far more complex. The Doberman doesn't reveal its real nature immediately, it watches, listens, and studies the home long before people realize it. Most people misread Dobermans because they assume the dog reacts to commands, when in reality the Doberman reacts to emotions first. It reads tone, tension, hesitation, and pressure like a language no human ever taught it. A Doberman isn't waiting for your voice, it's waiting for your intention. If your intention is unclear, the dog makes the decision for you, and that's where most problems begin. The moment a Doberman senses inconsistent energy, it switches from follower to analyst. It starts interpreting the environment through instinct, not obedience, and owners mistake this for stubbornness. People see confidence, strength, and elegance, but they miss the emotional depth underneath. A Doberman bonds so intensely with one person that the rest of the family often never understands its true personality. Most owners don't realize how quickly a Doberman picks its one person in the home. Once the bond forms, the dog filters every command, every correction, and every boundary through that chosen individual. Families think the Doberman is ignoring them, but the truth is simple: the dog is prioritizing the emotional link that feels safest. That single choice shapes the entire behavior dynamic inside the house. A Doberman can sense uncertainty faster than any other working breed. The slightest shake in your voice, the smallest pause in your step, or the quickest flicker of hesitation becomes a signal the dog never forgets. Owners misread Dobermans because they assume confidence is loud, but in this breed, confidence is silent. The Doberman follows certainty, not volume. When an owner overcorrects out of frustration, the Doberman internalizes the emotion behind the correction, not the action itself. This is why harsh training breaks this breed faster than it improves it. Most people don't understand that the Doberman remembers emotional patterns more than commands. A single moment of emotional inconsistency can undo weeks of training in seconds. Families misunderstand Dobermans because they treat them like pets instead of emotional mirrors. This breed reflects whatever energy fills the home. Chaos leads to chaos, patience leads to loyalty. The Doberman doesn't misbehave randomly, it responds to confusion. If the rules shift even slightly, the dog becomes anxious, protective, or unpredictable. Most owners mistake early calmness for obedience, not realizing the Doberman is still collecting information. Once the dog decides who leads, the real personality appears, sharper, faster, and more intense. A Doberman isn't just intelligent, it's selective with its intelligence. It chooses when to listen, when to observe, and when to take control. People misread this behavior as dominance or defiance, but it's actually instinct at work. The Doberman has evolved to think independently under pressure, and in a modern home, that instinct never turns off. When visitors enter, most families think the Doberman is simply excited or curious. What they miss is that the dog is quietly scanning intentions, posture, and emotional tension. A Doberman doesn't see people the way humans do, it sees patterns. It memorizes who hesitates, who moves too fast, and who carries anxiety in their body language. Owners miss the moment the Doberman takes responsibility for the home. That shift is subtle, silent, and easy to ignore until the dog starts acting before the owner gives direction. Most people misread Dobermans because they expect predictable behavior. This breed is emotional, intuitive, and capable of acting 3 steps ahead of the situation. Families are shocked when a normally calm Doberman suddenly becomes alert during an argument or moment of stress. The dog isn't reacting to voices, it's reacting to rising emotional pressure. Most owners assume the Doberman's loyalty guarantees obedience, but this breed follows clarity, not affection. Love strengthens the bond, but structure gives the bond purpose. The Doberman doesn't misunderstand you, you misunderstand the Doberman. This is the truth most owners never realize until problems begin. Most owners think the Doberman becomes difficult because of training issues, but the real reason is emotional miscommunication. A Doberman reacts to how the home feels, not just how the owner behaves. In most Indian homes, energy shifts constantly, guests arrive, tensions rise, and voices overlap. The Doberman notices these changes long before any human does. A Doberman will stand between 2 people arguing even if no one gives a command. To the dog, raised voices signal instability, and instability means the dog must step forward. People misread this as aggression, but it's simply the Doberman filling a leadership gap. When humans don't stay in control, the dog assumes it must. A Doberman feels responsible for the emotional temperature of the entire house. If anxiety rises, the dog becomes protective. If calm returns, the dog relaxes instantly. This breed doesn't wait to be told what to do, it predicts what needs to be done. That predictive nature is what makes the Doberman both extraordinary and overwhelming. Most owners misunderstand the moment a Doberman starts checking in less frequently. They think the dog is becoming independent, but in reality, it's becoming self-appointed leader. Once the Doberman believes it must manage the home, every sound, every knock, and every movement becomes its responsibility. This constant state of analysis exhausts the dog and confuses the family. Owners mistake the silence as obedience, when it's actually surveillance. The Doberman is watching everything and waiting for something to go wrong. When the dog chooses one family member as its anchor, the dynamic shifts dramatically. The Doberman begins filtering commands and corrections through that one person's emotional stability. If that chosen person is confident, the dog becomes calm. If that person is inconsistent, the dog becomes unpredictable. Most families think discipline comes from strict rules, but for a Doberman, discipline comes from emotional clarity. If your emotions are chaotic, the dog mirrors that chaos instantly. People misread the breed because they underestimate its emotional eyesight. The Doberman can detect fear before you feel it fully. A Doberman doesn't need to see danger to react, it only needs to sense the possibility of it. That quick decision-making is what makes this breed so respected in protection work. In many Indian homes, visitors come suddenly and frequently, creating bursts of unpredictability. The Doberman responds to each shift because it sees movement and emotion as signals. Families think the dog is overreacting, but the Doberman is simply doing the job the house accidentally assigned to it. Without clear human leadership, the dog becomes the default guardian. A Doberman does not forget emotional mistakes quickly. A single inconsistent reaction can stay in its memory for months. When the owner suddenly softens after scolding, the dog becomes confused. That confusion leads to stress behaviors that owners mislabel as stubbornness. Most people misunderstand the Doberman's silence. This dog doesn't bark to express itself, it watches, interprets, and calculates quietly. A Doberman rarely gives loud warnings, its first reaction is almost always subtle. Humans miss this, and problems explode without warning. This is the truth most owners don't see until the dog is already overwhelmed. A Doberman's stress signals are microscopic: a stiff ear, a frozen tail base, a slow glance toward a doorway. When those signals go unnoticed, the dog escalates to protect. From the dog's perspective, the silence from humans force the decision. Most people think training a Doberman is about teaching commands. In reality, training is about teaching the dog how to interpret your energy. If the owner is calm, the dog becomes precise and focused. If the owner is reactive, the dog becomes anxious and unpredictable. A Doberman thrives on routine, but most homes change their rhythm daily. This inconsistency creates an emotional roller coaster for a breed that craves structure. Dogs like Labradors adapt to chaos, Dobermans dissect it. That analytical mindset is both their superpower and their burden. Most families don't realize the Doberman tests boundaries silently. It pushes once to see how you respond, and your response sets the blueprint for the future. If you respond with uncertainty, the dog learns it must lead. If you respond with calm confidence, the dog learns it can trust you. The Doberman loves deeply, but that love is intense. It bonds with a strength that surprises even experienced owners. Many families think their Doberman is too attached or clingy, but that closeness is a survival instinct. The dog stays near the one person it considers emotionally stable. When that person leaves the house, the Doberman's behavior changes instantly. It becomes more alert, more sensitive, and more reactive to unfamiliar sounds. Most owners misinterpret this as anxiety. In truth, the dog is stepping into its self-assigned role as temporary leader. A Doberman isn't difficult, it's honest. It reveals the emotional cracks in the home long before anyone else sees them. This is the truth every owner misses: the Doberman isn't misbehaving, it's communicating. But most people aren't listening to the language it speaks. Once owners understand this emotional language, everything changes. The dog becomes calmer, more responsive, and more connected. When the Doberman knows the human is leading with clarity and consistency, it finally relaxes. And that relaxation is the moment when the real beauty of the breed emerges. Most people misread Dobermans not because the dog is complicated, but because the dog is transparent. It shows exactly what it feels, and expects humans to do the same. The Doberman is not a guard dog first, it is an emotional guardian. And until owners understand this truth, they will always misread the dog standing right in front of them.